Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to have a look at the latest from the live radar and for the UKV, have a look at the precipitation and the temperature over the next 5 days, as we are going to continue to see some relatively chilly conditions and it continuing to be fairly unsettled. However, as we'll see into next week, we are likely to see high pressure head towards Scandinavia and easterly winds to get pushed in. Now at the moment, the easterly winds do not look particularly cold. They're not going to be warm, let me stress that. They are still going to be relatively chilly. Upper air temperatures in and around average, maybe slightly below average, but at this stage, the majority are not going for anything cold and snowy. However, we continue to see a minority of runs, maybe around 5 to 10 ensemble members, showing us get to into something quite a bit colder. And it's all because there is a lobe of very cold air to our east. It's just whether this easterly wind actually taps into that or not. Something that is going to get resolved over the coming days. But of course, we'll explore that in the second half of the video. So do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure you like and subscribe, and remember to follow me on Twitter as well, the link's in the description. Now it is the first day of March, first day of meteorological spring, and we're on the upwards trend towards summer. We see the clocks change, going to British summertime by the end of the month, with sunsets getting beyond 7 PM in the matter of a few weeks. However, March has actually started pretty cold and wintry for some. Now, as you can see on the live radar, we've got a low pressure system sat over the top of us with some cold air embedded within it. And you can see across parts of northern England and southern Wales especially, we have seen some snow and even some heavy snow in a few places. Again, as we've highlighted over the past few days, majority of this wintriness has been over higher ground, and there has been a few surprises of settling snow in places. Most areas, I must stress though, have seen rain today, but it has been very chilly indeed. Over the course of the rest of this evening, you can see there's plenty of very heavy convective showers, pretty wild conditions moving up from the southwest. Within these overnight, there is the risk of even seeing a bit of wintriness towards low-lying areas. Hail, growlpool, sleet or snow does look really quite possible. And remember, in convective showers, wouldn't normally believe the precipitation typing, simply because things can change in a matter of minutes, which the radar doesn't always pick up depending on intensities, evaporated cooling. So if you see one of these beefy showers coming through, there is the risk it turns wintry for a time. Now the temperatures at the moment, as of around 7 PM, are pretty cold indeed. The further eastwards you are, the further milder it is, as the cold air is coming in from the northwest. You can see across higher ground, especially further northwards and westwards, temperatures struggling around the low single digits, if not around freezing. And especially where we are seeing that heavy precipitation at the moment, and where we have some snow today across parts of South Wales, higher ground of southwest England, parts of the Republic of Ireland, Northern Ireland into northern England. Now, if you put on the past 24-hour snowfall, something we've not seen in a while is some snow on our charts. That's not just for the Highlands of Scotland. You can see we actually saw some relatively significant snow across parts of the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland. Again, a majority of this didn't settle, but where we did see settling snow over the higher ground, you can see it has totted up. Same could be said about South Wales and even into parts of North Wales and Southwest England. Again, really regional with elevation, and that goes the same for parts of Northern England as well. So pretty much as expected, snow over the higher ground, a few surprises here or there, but the majority seeing a pretty cold and pretty miserable day with lots of rain and very cold conditions generally. Now, if you look at the latest UKV, you can see over the course of the rest of this evening, all that precipitation spiralling around that low and lots more wild showers coming in from the southwest. That will slowly fizzle away into the early hours of the morning, but still could develop into a little bit more of a succinct feature there across central southern England into the mid-morning period before eventually degrading away. Showers do pick up again in the afternoon tomorrow. Again, the power of the sunshine this time of year can cause those showers to really spike up. Of course, we've got the phrase April showers, which is essentially where we see one of these colder polar maritime air masses coming in from the north or northwest, and the sun creating a little bit of warmth to the surface, that temperature contrast, producing the convective showers. Now again, it's not April yet, but the same process is being seen seen here, where that sun is heating the surface. That temperature contrast between the upper air temperatures and the surface temperatures of around 10 to 15 degrees means that these showers take off in the afternoon. You can see, again, mostly rain, but the risk of snow, especially across higher ground. As we head into Sunday, still showers around, but it will be a drier day. But that means because of cold air aloft, there could be quite a high chance of seeing quite harsh overnight frost for Sunday and Monday, and the risk of ice as well. Into Monday, still relatively dry, especially through the morning. Again, frost risk there, before eventually we see southwesterly winds pushing back in, and we see the air masses turn a little bit milder there. However, you can see this weather front making really slow progress through Wednesday, and that is because high pressure is building in, trying to push that easterly wind. And if you look at the mean sea level pressure, you can see the winds veering southerly at this stage, but it is about to turn easterly as that high pressure is building northwards. Upper air temperatures are chilly at the moment and will stay chilly over the rest of the weekend into Monday, before starting to turn slightly milder through Tuesday into Wednesday, before easterly winds, as I said, could return and arrive into Wednesday and Thursday. UKV actually has a relatively cold pool here to our east. Impossible to see the exact depth of it, but relatively chilly, and will be very interesting to see if we pull much of that in as we head into next week. Now, if you do go over to the longer range, now if you do have a look at those 2 meter temperatures, you can see overnight tonight, temperatures dropping down close towards freezing, if not below freezing, but where we see showers and more prolonged areas of rain and cloud holding a few degrees above. Tomorrow, another chilly day, widely mid to high single digits, feeling colder under the showers. And then as we head into Sunday, again, could be quite harsh overnight frost, where we do have clear skies. And then into Sunday, another chilly day, mid to high single digits. And then as we progress into Monday, could be another pretty harsh frosts, with temperatures widely dropping to around that freezing point. Monday, another chilly day, but may just get up to 10 or 11 degrees, and into Tuesday and Wednesday, temperatures slowly start to rise further in the day, especially. Now, if you go over to the longer range, we'll be able to see the easterly winds that are going to be arriving into next week. You can see low pressure dominating at the moment, but we see that lobe of high pressure move up towards Scandinavia. Now, initially it doesn't impact us much, but by Wednesday, that's where the easterly winds start to arrive. Now, if you follow the isobars back, it is coming from kind of Central and Eastern Europe, but there's not that much cold air initially to tap into, and that's why we're expecting it to be not particularly cold easterly, at least initially. Longer range, there is the possibility of some cold air pushing in, but you see here the GFS, once we do start to see some cold air getting in to that easterly, getting fed in, we see the easterly degrade away, and that cold air just stays in Eastern Europe, with a westerly returning here from the GFS. So an easterly wind for a good 5+ days, perhaps, before eventually getting pushed away, with the Atlantic returning. But that, of course, as I said, is before we see anything really cold getting pushed in. Now, if you look at the latest GM, again, high pressure moving up towards Scandinavia, easterly winds starting to arrive, and again, if you follow the isobars, it's actually coming from more from a southeasterly. Now, it will still be chilly coming in off the dry continent, chilly continent, but it won't be all too cold. Right towards day 10, we continue with that easterly flow. You can see some really quite cold air is starting to get tapped into. However, we are starting to see low pressure run up from the south, which could produce some really quite horrible conditions. Unlikely to be widespread snow. If we were midwinter, there's the possibility of that with the air masses being colder. This could just produce a lot of rain and unsettled, horrible conditions, because we're likely to see low pressure engaging with quite a strong temperature contrast, and that is just going to pep up any weather fronts. And of course, the risk of snow across Scotland if we see that -5 line linger. Now, to compare to the ECMWF, again, low pressure sat over the top of us, high pressure building towards Scandinavia, easterly winds getting pushed in, and pretty strong flat easterlies. But as I said, as we get into the extended range or towards day 10, the wind veers more from a south or southeasterly direction, which in summertime would probably be pretty hot and maybe would be pretty thundery, with low pressure combining with hot humid air. However, this time of year, it's not going to be particularly warm because it's going to be accompanied by showers and cloud, maybe low teens. And it is, as I just said, lots of showers and the cloud around, making it yeah, not particularly pleasant at all, if I'm being completely honest. Again, we'll have to see exactly how it does play out over the coming days, but at the moment, easterly winds looking very likely to be pushing in. Upper air temperatures in and around average, but could be a lot colder. We'll have to see before eventually potentially breaking down as we head into mid-March. Now, if you look at the latest ensembles, you can see generally hovering around average or slightly below average over the next couple of weeks, but that actually is on an upwards trend because this time of year, we are generally on an upwards trend as we progress through spring. However, you can see, as I said, there's about 5 to 10, maybe as high as 15 runs in the whole sort of 10th to 17th of March period here that go down to -5 or lower. Again, those are some cold runs, maybe winteriness associated with that, or at least cold easterly, cold easterly with a really quite low feel-like temperature and harsh frosts. Precipitation isn't completely gone, which is suggestive, regardless of the sort of air masses we see, upper troughs and low pressure is never going to be too far away. So it's not going to be a particularly dry easterly. That's what we're looking at the moment. Could be pretty typical. Could be a cool easterly, 4 or 5 degrees, but with lots of heavy rain. There's a possibility of that with lots of showers pushing in. We will just have to see. But regardless, chilly is looking the recipe for the next couple of weeks. If we look at the 2 meter temperatures, it's slow upwards trend being attempted. But if we actually look at those white lines, which is the average, not getting much above double digits, or not getting much 9 or 10 degrees through the rest of March, from what we can see here. Dew points not progressing much either, some dipping quite a bit with that dry continental air. And if we do finish by looking at the latest ECMWF, again, we can see very similar to the GFS. Quite a few runs going very cold, but the majority are hovering in and around average, and a similar precipitation signal there as well. So cold and relatively wintry in a few places over the coming days, but just generally chilly, rainy, with eventually some dry conditions through the latter part of the weekend. And then as we head into next week, easterly winds will arrive and it will be turning chilly once again, or remaining chilly really after maybe a temporary bump in the middle of the week. And there is the risk of something quite a bit colder, but at this stage it is fairly minimal, as you can see by the onshore members. Not 0, but I would say no higher than 10 or 20%. That's what I said yesterday, and I don't really see much of a change today. So we'll have to continue to monitor it, and I'll keep you updated as well. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again for another video soon.